All right, I'll try this one more time. Death Scythe rap, you gotta show them. Where's skill cap is, son? I'm gonna get a whole bunch of fucking kills, and I gotta get a couple more thrills. Couple more thrills. Couple get real. Broke it down, break it down. Okay, here we go. I got a death scythe, and I can kill a lot of people. Better, been the beneficiary of evil. Now I want to go and get a kill. Now it's time to feel the thrill. Death Scythe, now go and get your people. Death Scythe, the committed to the evil. All dude is Michael Birch crew. What can I do for you? Gotta call us, dude. Oh, the is Michael Birch crew. Hack me up. Dude, some of us are real, but some of us aren't. Some of us are invisible. Did you wake up when I called you? Yeah, kind of. How many of you think woke up? I know a lot of us. That's not what I was going for. I was going for someone to talk to. It's Michael Birch. Yeah, I know. That's a real person. Solid. They won't make. I guess they won't make the call for me. I guess not. He says, I guess they won't make the call for you. Well, I guess they'll only call me then, do whatever. So what do we do next, David? Trying to remember the better, been the beneficiary of a lot of evil, concentrated in the palm of my hand, and I could kill them all and be the last man. You'll die to that which is my scythe. I'll kill you with a bladed knife. That's pretty cool that you didn't think you could fucking death rap. How much do I owe you for the fucking show? You already fucking spotted me some. You already gave me some weed, or you just don't remember. Yeah, I know. I just don't remember it. Yeah, I remember it too often to you. I shouldn't. Yeah, I just don't remember. Yeah, you won't even remember. You won't even remember. Yeah, I know. I gotta get some marijuana in me. Switch this over to the marijuana stream. YouTube is shit, Dave, and so is Twitch. They're both gay. Nothing funnels the viewers around. It's always the same people. I always laugh when one of these old fucking streamers fucking gets fucking ripped out. If I want to talk to people, let's call Little Wayne. All right, Dave, call Little Wayne. Little Wayne in real life, hello, David Tripp. Little Wayne in real life, hello, David Tripp. Oh, Dave, it's Lil Wayne. What you want? Nah. Hi, Dave. How's it going? It's going pretty good. I got a little bit of an empire going with the Invisibles. I mean, I don't got any real guys, but invisible stuff, I'm like winning. Oh, okay, that's good. I will let me know if you got in trouble with the invisible guys, David. You got a lot of invisible guys, David. Yeah, invisible stuff. I practically run it. He says invisible stuff. I practically run it. Yeah, no, I don't believe that, David. Well, you can blame it on me being who I am, but I managed to get a hold of some power. You can blame it on me being who I am, but I managed to get a hold of some power. Yeah. I don't want to hear about that power, Dave. Let's call some other people in here. If I can't talk to 50, he's too big. Okay, as you, isn't it, Little Wayne? Yeah, as you, Michael Burge. I see that. Presidential authorization, right? No, I don't want to trick my favorite rapper. I don't want to do any of that. You don't want to do any of that. No, I don't want to go about and do that thing where you call someone and pretend to be someone else. I wouldn't do that to my friend there. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't do that to my friend there. Yeah, don't call me like that, Dave. It's pretty convincing. I might fall for that. Dave, I can't talk to the president. I got shit I gotta say. No, one of them was me. I was tuned into it. Oh, okay. We're the same. So we're 7 minutes into the stream, but nobody's here. Yeah, I know. No one's there. Putting on a death stream. I got another person. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch that. I guess call Seth MacFarlane now. Lil Wayne probably can't even get that guy. Seth MacFarlane in real life. Hello, David Tripp. Seth MacFarlane in real life. Hello, David Tripp. Hey, Dave, what's going on, Seth? He can't take your call, David. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool. I just thought you could maybe get it out to him that Seth MacFarlane's a cool guy, and I respect that. I respect that he gets his art out there. Good job in getting that art out there. Yeah, I know, right? Are you fucking kidding me, Dave? Yeah, apparently, yeah, that's not me, Dave. I would never talk to you that way. Hey, Peter. Yeah, see, it doesn't work. Death scythe. Death scythe things. Pick up my death scythe and I start killing. Get a kill. I mean, if you like the stream, we can get another guy. Are you just trying to get streamers? Yeah, I know. I'm trying to see if anyone will fucking click on this. Okay, let's call someone else now. Marshall Mathers in real life. Hello, David Tripp. Marshall Mathers in real life. Hello, David Tripp. Hey, Dave, what's going on? That's David Tripp. How can I help you? What can I do for you? I don't know. Stuff. What, you got a way to get drugs in the country, Dave? Invisible drugs, yeah, but I'm not supposed to do it. I can get invisible drugs in the country like it's a joke, but I don't. I just don't. I just choose not to, even though they won't stop me. They won't stop me. They won't come and arrest me for anything I do. Yeah, I know you can get invisible drugs in the country. What about real ones, then? See, that's the thing. I don't do the real drugs that way. I just partake. Yeah, Aaron, I get that. Wait, I'm talking to you, Aaron. Aaron, come on, get over yourself. We're hanging out together. It's you, me, and I'm getting over myself. I only need one viewer. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well, we got fucking no. There's another viewer. It says what? What? How are you? How is the viewer changing and you still typing? That's what I don't get. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I get that. All right, all right. No, never mind. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Aaron? Yeah, my heart burns for the females. I fucking love them. Death Scythe. Death Scythe are up. You got to get your death scythe going at the fucking people you wanna kill. Now it's time to feel the thrill. Oh yeah. Oh, I was wondering, like, yeah, I thought you were. No, I burp. I get heartburn. It's getting better though. It's not as bad as it used to be. Just don't go crazy with the coffee. That's what I learned. If you go crazy with the coffee, it ain't good. Anyway, the presidential stream's starting in half an hour. We're gonna get a raid together, Aaron. If we get enough guys, we can go raid David Pakman's stream. You can't watch it. Fucking fag. Yeah, I know, right? Holy shit. Well, if we get to like 5 or 6, we could fucking go on their stream and say stuff. No, it's gonna take more than 5 or 6. How about like we get 30 or 50 viewers and we raid David Pakman's stream? Oh, we can't. We know it. Who am I rooting for? Originally, I was rooting for President Trump. I wanted a war with Iran, but it doesn't look like we're getting a war with Iran, so I don't care anymore. Unless we're getting a war with Iran, I don't care. I only vote for war, and you got to get more death out there. I got to get back to my show. Enough fun, Aaron. Death Scythe rap. Get more death, more death, more death, death. Yeah, it's a scythe. It's a scythe. No, it's for fucking brutally killing snipers. That's what this scythe is for. Yeah, I fucking come up on a sniper in the back and just fucking rah. So much damage, man. You know how much damage a scythe does to a sniper? Snipers wish they were fucking good, but they're not. Once a scythe starts trying at their armor, cut around it in it. There's little holes here. Dead. Just dead. Scythes are better. And this part here in the middle, it can be made into metal, and you can use it like a sword defensively. Yeah, you can have metal here in the middle, in the staff part. Call Curtis Jackson. You're telling me dead. They can't stop you, Dad. Do you have another mask? I'm gonna throw this in the wash. Bella, been the beneficiary of a lot of evil, concentrated in the palm of my hand, and we could kill them all and be the last man. And I could kill them all and be the last man. They'll all die to that which is my scythe. Kill them with my bladed knife. That's pretty dark, David. I think Aaron left. Death side rap, death side rap, death side rap. Goes rat-a-tat-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat-tat. It goes that side rap goes rat-a-tat-tat-tat. Do this, do that. Go here, go there. Yeah, I know. I ain't got no one yet. I'm watching them. Okay, I'll try and get some people out on Twitter. You try too, Aaron, if you're still here. If you're one of the one. Oh wait, there's two. No, there's one. Okay, there's one. There's one person here. Studio YouTube. Wow, they can't find me over all this Paul David Tripp stuff. There you go. There you go. I haven't got two people. I only have two people here now. I gotta get some more death. More death. All right. If we can get 300 people, we'll raid David Pakman stream. If you didn't know, I'm starting David Pakman show memberships. We're gonna. Well, it won't be David Pakman though. It'll be me. Lots of death content. Hours and hours go on for like weeks and days. You fucking kidding me, Dad? I knew they had fucking stasis. They won't give it to us. Can you guys go and tell other people to, show up for my show? Or at least comment in the chat more. If we can get you going and comment on the chat, people show up. That's how YouTube's algorithms work. All right, Dave. Time to wrap her up. Okay, now I put it on my Facebook. Maybe someone will join. Let's see if I can private message Aaron and ask him to come back to the stream. And I can put Aaron in the timeout. So. I don't need 15. No, I hate that one. Let me see. What do I know? I'll bring up my rap lyrics here. Yeah, I got, a little practice and stuff. I'm getting better. I'm not back in the roll with it. Back in the roll with it. Are you fucking kidding me? Talk up here, it might not be coming out of your nose right. Don't come out of my nose right there. I'm trying to talk a little lower than. Let me see. I'm just getting my rap lyrics out. We're gonna do a big rap, so no one leave yet. There you go. Okay, here we go. People sleep, we don't wake. All got a blue pill to take, and there's gold here. I'm putting a stake massacres across the earth. The human bomb is a curse, and reach in a bag of silicon chips and pull out the apocalypse. It don't matter whose reality flips, rich or poor, you gonna die to this shit and have to popular. When we don't submit, the game don't discriminate. Moves are played, the right aptitudes get a lot of sway. Dictatorships, they pop up in a day. Usually you throw the dice and watch where they lay. If you close your eyes, it'll all go away. Cover your ears, you won't hear anymore. Just cause you don't live in the hood where the bombs drop. Don't mean you don't get to kill a whole lot. And this is our life. We live and breathe despair. We're the West. We don't give a fuck over here. It's like boom. There goes a village. Whoops. Let my soldiers pillage. Terrorists crossed off my hit list. It's perilous. How deep this shit is. Going to sleep immortal. How you wake up dead. Idiot still thinking on his head. And you aren't supposed take the pill that's red. Bombs drop on people in their beds. Red Cross smuggling guns with the meds. And war's a dirty game. Played with blood, just explosions. Rear view of a HUD and corpses only. And get buried with mud. We could rally against war, but they'll always call for more. Could want to come down to it. The lines we cross, sons we lost. Hate breed hate, and I almost got enough to open Hell's Gate. Al Davis plays Glaive, so what do you want? Al Davis with Glaive, what do you mean? I was David Treb, I can help you. Now you come down like a dictator, you know. A lot of people think you're like some nigga hating old white man. Oh, there's a lot of white males that hate black people, but I don't know. Doesn't I don't know. And I try and give people a chance when I first meet them, you know. Yeah. It says I try to give people a chance when I first meet them, you know. It's all stereotypes, though, Dave. It's all stereotypes. Dave, I ain't get to do big shows. Now, see, you're wrong there. We don't need a war of the ram. Bunch of niggas gotta go die for that. I can't say the N word. I'm on my show. You're gonna fucking come after me. Don't make me say that. Oh, okay, sorry. Well, whatever. We'll pretend we're the deep fat fried. We're deep fat fried. We roll heavy with deep fat fried stuff. Yo, we're deep fat fried. Maybe I can pull up one that I already know how to sing properly. I wouldn't have to, but I smoked all I got, ratcheted it up, and you got shot. Like the media taught, living the fear gangster life. We ain't pranksters, right? Trespassing in the hood, found out what's good. Nothing fool, fake ass street school. Bleeding out in fake, complaint mistakes you made. Should've lived life square, but there ain't no excitement. Cause life ain't fair, and there ain't no right in it. I'll kick you while you're down unless you shoot up. And I'm kissing the boot up. Shanks down, shanks up. I'm showing what I got to all them. Believe it. Reaching up high as I hold these riches. Like my stash, huh? Don't cross that sand line. Oh, look, I tried to be a really smart kind of guy. Help out, be good, and don't just fly. But look how far you get. That don't count for shit. Somebody got you whole. Point them up and spray, you never fold. As a matter of fact, what they say, you could be so bold. Pay some bills and buy some gold. Counting up on the profits on what you stole. None of it will amount to your goal. Lost in the mix like all your goals. Take a little break. Yeah, take a little break. None of it will amount to your soul. Lost in the mix like all your goals. Hey, we got another person. If you stay, we'll get a show going. I'll pay more attention to this thing. Got 3 people there. Take it serious now. Gotta get more death out there. There's not enough death. More death. More death. More death. More death. Oh, he left. Fucking hell. It starts in 8 minutes. Wow. Some days I just want to up and call it quits. I feel like I'm surrounded by a wall of bricks. Every time I go to get up, I just fall to bed. My life's like one great big ball of shit. If I could just get it all out of spit, instead of always trying to swallow it, instead of staring at the ball and shit. Red block, red is block, stick a hole this shit. Can't call shit. I knows I'm about to hit the ball if I see another one of those alcoholic fits. This is it. That's all. That's it. I'm dealing with another fucking politic. I'm like a skillet, feel it till it builds us up. I'm about to kill it. I can feel it building up. I've concealed enough, rough squeal enough. You don't feel it, then it must be the real to touch, real to fuck with. I'm about to tear shit up. Goosebumps, yeah, I'm gonna make you stare shit up. Yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna show you who I be. I'm gonna make you hate me till you ain't me. Just wait, it ain't too late to finally see what your closed mind and fucks what you blind to see. Gonna find me, gonna find the finest fee out this world. Ain't no one at the mind as me. You need a peace of mind. Here's a peace of mind. All I need's a line. But sometimes I don't almost find the words to rhyme. Express how I'm really feeling at that time. Sometimes it's always me. How dark can these hallways be? Clock strikes. Midnight, 1, 2, then 3:30. This half-ass rhyme with this half-ass piece of paper. Desperate at my desk. If I could just get the rest of my shit off the chest again. Stuck in a slump, can't think of nothing. Fuck, I'm stunned. Oh, but wait, here comes something. Nope, it's not good enough. Scribble it out. You're bad. Scribble it out and scribble it out. I got a scythe. I kill people with a scythe. Yeah, no, they mounted me. Hmm. I'm gonna have to smoke some weed. That felt awful. That felt negative there. Take a break, guys. You see if you can get someone here. Yeah, we should kill everyone. There's no way to get any streamers. You know, no one fucking watches no one views you. There's no art. You should kill everyone, dude. Nine p.m. Oh, I thought it started at 8. Fuck.
The most important vote, and with so much on the line, it demands the most straightforward newsmaking, real answers, the most informed voices from all sides. The countdown is on to the vote. What will our future look like? ABC's This Week with George. It all plays out right here on Sunday. The most consequential weekend of this hyper-political year. Right as you get closer to casting your vote every Sunday on ABC.
Please stop. This is a 2020 special.
This is the most important election we've ever had.
We need to rise to this moment.
In this unprecedented election season, a debate that could change everything. With voting already underway, who will sway the undecided? The president, Donald Trump.
This election will decide whether we will defend the American way of life or whether we will allow a radical movement to completely dismantle and destroy it.
The challenger, Joe Biden.
It's time for us, for we the people, to come together. Make no mistake. United we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America.
Tonight, the main event, the first presidential debate. Live from Case Western Reserve University and Cleveland Clinic in Ohio and New York City. Now reporting Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
Good evening and welcome to our special coverage of the 2020 presidential debates. That is the scene in Cleveland, Ohio, where just 1 hour from now, Donald Trump and Joe Biden will take the stage for the first of three 90-minute debates just 35 days before the final votes. Most presidential election years are tumultuous, few anything close to this. The president impeached, a global pandemic costing more than 200,000 Americans their lives, millions more their jobs, racial protests, political violence, and now a Supreme Court confirmation battle in the closing weeks of the campaign. But through it all, this presidential race has been remarkably stable. Go back to the polls in January, you'll see that Joe Biden, still fighting for the Democratic nomination, had about a 7-point lead over President Trump. Take a look today, and the polling averages are basically in the same place. Our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, is in Cleveland. John, with exactly 5 weeks to go, the president has to do something tonight to shake up this race.
If he doesn't shake up the race, George, the bottom line is he is likely to lose this race. As you mentioned, the polls have been steady nationally. They've also been steady in virtually every single battleground state. The top 12 states, he has failed to have a sustainable lead in any of them over the last several days. And he also knows, off the several months, he also knows, George, that if he doesn't change the dynamic, and if he doesn't change the dynamic, the trajectory of the race, he will lose. And he knows that this is his single best chance to do so. This debate, an audience of potentially 100 million people, head-to-head with Joe Biden. We still have 2 debates after this. But
That's safe.
voting. If he's going to change the dynamic of the race, he has to start to do it now. He's been here before. You remember 4 years ago, his campaign was written off as dead after the Access Hollywood debate. He came in after the tape was leaked. He came into the debate, co-moderated by Martha Raddatz, and he went on the attack, ruthlessly and relentlessly on the attack. He turned around his campaign. I suspect he's going to try to do something very much like that tonight.
We will be watching that tonight. A lot of pressure on Joe Biden, obviously, as well. Mary Bruce also in Cleveland. And I guess, Mary, the watchwords for the
Sorry, I have
Biden
seizures.
strategy
You have
don't
seizures?
sit on your
Okay.
lead, but don't take Trump's bait.
Exactly, George. The Biden campaign just told us he is ready for anything here tonight, and he may very well have to be. He knows that the president is going to try to make this personal, but he says he's not going to be baited into some.
You're like the only white guy that cares about black people,
Dad.
Dad.
Is going to be trying to rise above all of the
No one gives a fuck.
Focus on the issues. We know.
You know what I mean? No one gives a fuck.
Taxes and his business record, and in the midst of this pandemic, he's also likely to hammer the issue of healthcare. And even though Biden has flatly labeled the president a liar, don't expect him here tonight to spend a lot of time fact-checking the president. Instead, we're told he wants to spend all of his time here speaking directly to the American people. Biden, of course, is very familiar with this venue. This will be his 27th.
I don't know if the black kid was having trouble and couldn't figure things out. I talked to him. See, that's all you have to do, David.
The vice president has to perform tonight. He has never been up against an opponent like Donald Trump. He has to prove the president wrong when he attacks him on his mental fitness.
Yeah, I know.
Joe Biden has to bring it.
So no one else would do that. Only David would do that.
See if he does. Wild card
I know, but you keep telling Nazis you're not going to save my life. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, but you keep telling Nazis you're not going to save my life. Don't care about niggas today.
Vegas has the latest on that.
Yeah, George, the Trump team said today they expect this to be the very first question tonight, and they are ready for it. But you just said it. He has fought this every step of the way. He's not faced questions extensively since this story broke on Sunday. He's expected to get questions on this tonight. He has not released his tax returns, the first president in modern history to do so. So now he will face these big questions. And heading into tonight, this has given the Biden team a fresh ammunition. They are going to argue that the president, in that $750 that he paid in income taxes the year he won the White House in his first year in office, is less than teachers and firefighters and nurses in this country have paid. The Trump team, they're expected to say that this is smart business, that in fact Joe Biden is the one who helped create the tax code in this country. George, the biggest question heading in tonight on the issue of taxes is, will the voters care about this? The Trump team is hoping that this will be litigated already back in 2016.
We'll look tonight for David Mears here. One thing we know the voters care about, COVID-19, the pandemic, going to be a whole topic tonight.
No question about that, George. And we have to remember that this country is
Fighting with a plastic surface.
polarization, the politics, and most certainly, as you point out, by the pandemic, more than 200,000 American lives lost, millions without work. And you know, it was months ago, that first interview with the president in the pandemic, and I asked him, are you comfortable with this election becoming a referendum on your handling the pandemic? And you could see the pain in his face. He said, you know, I am and I'm not. But he went on to tell me that I deserve credit for my handling of the pandemic. We know that in recent weeks he has said I deserve an A+. But then came the audio tapes, the Bob Woodward audio tapes, when he was downplaying the virus, handling this and Joe Biden was telling us that far on the stage, and what President Trump will say to defend not only his handling, but where do we go from here? What's his vision for the next 4 years and the next 4 months, quite frankly? How and when is he going to respond to the pandemic that's taking more than 200 months?
Also, here tonight, we know the president's tried to hit the scene of law and order, and he was playing off the racial protests being across the country this summer. People still trying to draw on the wake of the weapon charges and they're also angry and frustrated. South Carolina that was holding a sign, a black boy who said, "We didn't come this far to only come this far." On the stage tonight, as far as which one of these candidates is going to actually help propel black and black communities forward. I think it is possible that we could see President Trump pull the 1994 Congress out of his back pocket, and this is legislation. Yes, Joe Biden wrote the legislation, and many argue that this is really detrimental to the black community for decades, even and now today. The Trump administration is going to acknowledge that systemic racism still exists in this country. I thought it was really interesting.
Sorry, I'm having a first
that recently came out that only 9% of Trump supporters actually believe it's harder in this country to be black than white. Compare that to 74% of those who support Biden. I think that we do have to be mindful. Only 1/3, or actually 1/3, which is the largest amount that we've had in history, non-white voters in this electorate this year.
Could be a big force in the election. Lindsay Davis, thanks. We are lucky to have part of our team, the only journalist in the country who's moderated general election debates with both President Trump and Joe Biden, our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz. So you have Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton back in 2016, Joe Biden and Paul Ryan back in 2012. What did you learn about their debate styles?
Well, I think John said it right off the bat, and we've all seen it. Donald Trump is combative. He will come out swinging. He lurked on the stage in 2016. Dealing with Donald Trump is more like being a lion tamer than a debate moderator. You really had to keep him on time. He'll go after the moderator. I had to stop him several times, and then he would accuse me of letting Hillary Clinton have more time. So I expect he'll go after the moderator, and he will hard charge against Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden in 2012 was very feisty in that debate and very, very wonky, very policy driven. But Joe Biden also had a real sense of humor then, and I don't think you see that with Donald Trump in any of these debates, in anything with Donald Trump. Whenever he's talking to people, you don't really see that sense of humor. I think you'll see Joe Biden tonight, although he's far more uneven than he was in 2012.
You know the kind of pressure that moderator Chris Wallace is going to be under tonight. You know, the moderator has to ask revealing questions, figure out how and when to follow up, and get answers, but not become the story.
Exactly. I'm so relaxed tonight, George. I feel so much better than looking at that stage tonight and remembering what that's like. But Chris is an excellent moderator. He did a great job in 2016. But I know just the same way I wanted to stay out of it and not become the story, Chris wants to do that as well. But you also have to do fact-based questions. You have to give the candidates questions that will challenge them.
Say there's no
You're not
answer
really
for
the
that.
person who's saying you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, you're right. That's up to them.
Yeah, he said he's not going to fact check, but we should probably expect him to follow up.
I think he will follow up, and we certainly followed up in 2012 and in 2016. It's very much like you did, George, the other day in the town hall. You follow up when you can, when you have the information there, and you can pass it off to the other candidate. So if Donald Trump says something that the moderator doesn't feel is correct, he may follow up with that, but then toss it to Joe Biden.
Arthritis, thanks very much. When we come back, Nate Silver's election forecast, Tom Yamas on the 6 big battlegrounds, and our Powerhouse Roundtable.
The most important issue of the debate for me would be
The Department of Justice. Welcome to Disney Plus. Are you ready?
Still only two watching.
Jump in and explore. The action, the adventure, and the originals. There's no limit to what you'll find. These are your worlds. So come on. Dive deeper into the universes you love. Wherever and whenever you want them. You'll find them all here on Disney Plus.
Yes, mornings may look different these days, but where you start your day,
Where you spend your mornings, where you get connected to everything that's happening.
And face it, there's a whole lot happening in our world these days.
where you get all the breaking new information of the day to help you navigate through these times.
That's why we're here.
Good morning, sunshine.
And making sure you start your day off with a smile and some sunshine.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Oh, how I love saying that.
I'm very thankful that these men are fine.
Tuesday, October 13th, we respect your wishes. The Bachelorette is back,
This is the perfect place to fall in love.
but respect the rumors.
Do not ever talk to me like that.
It's true. This is the most shocking season ever.
He's sick.
Me, that's crazy too. Claire,
Congratulations, you've just blown up The Bachelorette.
The Bachelorette season premiere Tuesday, October 13th on ABC. It's being called the most consequential election of a lifetime. The most important vote, and with so much on the line, it demands the most straightforward, news-making, real answers. The most informed voices from all sides. The countdown is on to the vote. What will our future look like? ABC's This Week with George. It all plays out right here every Sunday.
The most consequential weekend of this hyper-political year.
Right as you get closer to casting your vote every Sunday on ABC.
The waters of the Outer Banks are unforgiving and full of riches for the fishermen who dare. The best of the Northern Fleet are heading south. But the locals know where the giants lie. And if you thought the waters were unforgiving, wait until the battle begins.
Wicked Tuna Outer Banks. New episodes Sundays at 9 on National Geographic. What's the most innovative daily news podcast out there to listen to every day? Well, the Edward R. Murrow Awards say it's Start Here, the daily news podcast from ABC News. Even the New York Times calls us a top news podcast worth listening to. So if you like getting behind the biggest news stories of the day, inside all the details, the backstory, and what will happen next, then listen to Start Here, the daily news podcast from ABC News. There's like no other news podcast out there. Even the critics agree. Listen free on Apple Podcasts. Friday, two music superstars John Bon Jovi and Jennifer Nettles in an unforgettable GMA concert. John Bon Jovi and Jennifer Nettles. Friday on Good Morning America's concert series, sponsored by CarMax. Now with so much on the line, more Americans are turning to David Muir and ABC's World News Tonight than any other program across all of television.
Breaking news, context, analysis.
And no shouting. The time is now for ABC News Live.
Get it streaming everywhere, right to you.
That's the scene in Cleveland, Ohio. Under an hour now before the first debate between President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden. 90 minutes to go tonight in this first debate. 2 more to come after that, plus a vice presidential debate. As we said coming into the program tonight, Joe Biden enters this debate season with about a 7-point lead in the national race, according to polling averages. Of course, this is, though, about the Electoral College. Remember, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote last time, but did not win the presidency. And this time around, the campaigns are spending most of their time and attention on 6 big battleground states. Tom Ram is here with a deeper dive on that.
George, these are 6 critical battleground states that the president won 4 years ago. Let's take a look right now. Here they are: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona, and Florida. In this column, we have the
Looks like Biden's in the lead.
to where Hillary Clinton was 4 years ago. So right now, Biden has the polls he wants. We still have lots of news going on. We still have 3 debates. So there is uncertainty, but you'd much rather be in Joe Biden's position right now.
How does this compare to where Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were 4 years ago around this time?
So at this point in 2016, Clinton had only about a 1-point lead in our national polling average. It was about 55% in our forecast to win the Electoral College. So it's a much less close race than it was 4 years ago. People forget, 2016, we had lots of swing state polls that showed Trump ahead. We somehow had like a Jedi mind trick where we pretended that Biden or Clinton was sure to win, but it was a very close race. This race has been much steadier. There are fewer undecideds. Biden's at or above 50% in a lot of these polls. So Trump really needs to change some minds here, which is doable. I mean, it's a crazy campaign, but we're in the range now where you don't see comebacks as often as you would have back in July and August.
Finally, just lift it out a little bit on your process, because a lot of people pay attention to your bottom line. They look at that percentage you put up on your website every day. Just give the people a sense of what goes into that.
So we take literally every poll that we can find, polls that have been more accurate historically are weighted more heavily, like the ABC News Washington Post poll. But it's all based on history, right? Saying if you have a candidate with a lead of this margin with 35 days to go, how often do they win? And in Biden's case, the answer is maybe 75 or 80% of the time.
Nate Silver, thanks very much. Let's talk about this more now with our roundtable. I want to start with Rahm Emanuel, former chief of staff to President Obama, mayor of Chicago. You worked with Joe Biden for a long time. Give a sense of what the leader looks like in the Biden campaign in the debate tonight.
Well, I think that if I said 9 months ago, you're going to have $150 million more than the incumbent president, you're going to be up in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Hello. How are you doing? It's very good. Well, so we're going to be doing the debate tonight. We're going to be doing it. You know, no one else is even fucking doing it. We're fucking doing it. Doing it. No one else is fucking doing it. Anyone else who even tries to do it is a piece of fucking shit. Fuck them. We're doing it, and we're doing it only for our patrons. Only for the patrons. If you're a little pleb bitch, riding that little, oh, I don't even know if it's worth it. Join the fucking Patreon, you stupid piece of shit! Watch us cover the debate!
Holy shit. How do you follow that?
Dude, what the fuck, Paul? I mean, I don't think we should be so mean as TJ.
Debate
You think
starts
we
in
should be
40
mean like
minutes, so 9.
No, I really don't think. I think that we should be meaner. You know what, TJ just.
Alright, I gotta get a lot of death. I've been watching the news, and you know what I noticed? There's not enough fucking death. More people have to die. More people have to die. There's not enough death.
On the issues that are very important to the American people, then I think he can have a good performance tonight. If we get into a personality battle back and forth, that's not good for the president.
Yvette Simpson, we know that one of the things that the president's tried to do for the last several weeks is paint Joe Biden as a socialist and kind of a Trojan horse for socialism. But we also know is that people have been voting all across the country for several weeks.
They have, and I think that's the greatest, I think, benefit to the Democratic Party because a lot more Democratic voters are taking those early ballots. But there's also a lot of confusion. We've been talking to voters in battleground states for the last couple of weeks, and people are afraid to put their ballots in the mail. They're afraid of the rules that keep changing. In my own state of Ohio, they still are battling over ballot boxes. And so what we're telling people is keep the momentum, keep getting out there, keep going. And so as Nate said, the one X factor in this election is will people's votes count? Will we have a full and fair election, or will they be stopped at the polls?
How does Joe Biden handle this balancing act? On the one hand, he has to rebut these charges that he's going to be a socialist without dampening enthusiasm from progressives in the Democratic Party.
I think he just talks about what's important to him. I mean, we're not claiming Joe Biden as a liberal, progressive socialist. He's not that. And so we're not saying it. I don't think anybody believes it. I think he just has to stick to the facts. He has to stick to what he is and what he's doing. And I think more importantly, he needs to come up very, very strong and as a strong.
I didn't like that panel. It wasn't very good. Let's try and watch something else. What else is available?
You are exposed. Exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God.
Doing politics. You want to turn this into an instant shit show? I was going to name the stream Review Simp USA. It's so funny because Sunpie on Twitter said, I need something to eat, and I said, come to the States. Who have I talked to her forever? Come to the States and I'll make you something. Everyone's like, oh, you're such a simp. For what? I like play. I don't feed trolls, but I love playing in on stuff like that. It is orange and grapefruit. Orange and grapefruit. depends on the price, man. I mean, I love what I do, but if it would be like life-changing money, life-changing, nothing special here. So Rich, Frank's fans are pushing him to go back to Boogie's house and harassing him. Apparently, Frank is straight feeding off Boogie. Well, no shit. And he got a huge reaction out of it. People just need to leave Boogie alone. The guy is on the brink of something. And Becky, I haven't talked to you in a minute. How are you? People need to leave. Just leave Boogie alone. Whether it be criticizing stupid takes. Look, I just made the video on the Series S, but I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to make videos. I'm not going to.
Holy shit.
The guy's on the brink of something I don't want to be involved in. So what does Frank Castle do? What does Frank Castle do? Captain Star Chaser, my Cyberpower PC is shipping now. I'm going to find a way to slip it past my parents. They wouldn't like how much I spent on it. How old are you, Captain Star? Nah, it's not staged. It's not staged. This would not benefit Boogie's career to stage it. I don't think it's staged. Harasses people for attention. But I'm sure the people that he harasses are feeding into it. You know what I mean? That is true. You must be fairly young. I'm thinking like 12, 13, 14. Captain Star Chaser. At most 16, maybe 17.
Yeah, born
No, he's not faking. Boogie's not faking. I assure you he's not faking. Conspiracy theory, Microsoft is paying Rich tons of money to say amazing things about Series X/S. Yes. I've also got that I'm a Sony fanboy. I've had people now who think I'm that think I'm a Nintendo fanboy because of how much I've oh yeah, speaking of things that I need to call out or I guess I finally became victim of a failing Xbox Elite controller. My trigger sticks. That's what she said. Top part of it sticks. You can hear it here. Hear the click. And especially if you have it in the mode where it just clicks down a little bit, that fucks you up. I thought I was like, man, what's wrong with this thing? I'm actually 26, but since I am in school, I am flat broke, so I live with them. No, I understand it. When I got laid off from IBM, I was in my late 20s and technically had to move back home. Is what it is. People got on my shit about that, though. Oh, what is he doing? You know, he's going to be 30 soon. And I'm like, yeah, because I did it on purpose. That was my whole plan, was to get laid off from my job. You know the deal to agree to lose the sharp, bruh. You know the deal. So I understand. Dude, I was there. And hey, you're going to school, so. Yeah, I was playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That's what I've been playing like 98% of the time. And because I've actually been shockingly playing games, because my anxiety is down from having medical marijuana, I've been playing a decent amount. Not a lot, but like I would say like hour and a half a day. I don't have that much time. But $200 controller, it's sticking. I might be able to WD-40 it or something, but it may not be, I don't know. It's annoying. Won't spend that kind of money again on a controller like that. Hey, Rich, just bought a Dell G5 laptop with 10 Gen i5, 10 8 gigabytes Z1660. Okay. Here. That's a pretty decent. Is that a 4-core 8-thread chip? Your trigger sticking too? Lips are always chapped.
Death Scythe.
Pretty
Death Scythe, Rob.
How many cores and how many threads? I'm gonna guess 4, 8 thread chip. Now i5s. Well, see, there's 6-core i5s, but usually if it's a 6-core i5, it's not hyper-threaded. It's not hyper-threaded. No, I'm not gonna. On this channel, are you insane? Hell
Think
no.
of it this way. It's kind of like you're Joe Biden and you're playing a nice little folk song on your guitar. And then comes this guy with a chainsaw coming at you. That's going to be the difference. There are Biden rules that he has abided by during 47 years of debates over and over and over again. And those are the rules he's used to. Now, he knows Donald Trump. He knows who he is. He watched the Hillary Clinton debates, obviously, probably over and over again. But he's never experienced anything like
I
that.
can't believe he watches you.
I wouldn't. How's the rules say you can't walk over and shake hands? Trump might just walk over. I mean, you have no idea what Trump is going to do, and I think that's going to be incumbent upon Biden to know why he's there and for whom he's there. That's the thing. If it becomes about, hey, I'm feeling insulted, I want to defend my vote, a 1937 vote, well, you know, 1973. If he gets into that, if he goes down the Biden rabbit hole, that's not it. But there are two Bidens, and there is a Biden that I think is deeply offended by what's happening to ordinary people. And when he stands in the
Never
for
cuss
that,
out.
when he speaks from that,
Look works.
By the way, we're watching President Trump's motorcade arriving at the hall.
I did 30 presidential debates. Now, obviously, not as the rarity of the party, but I will tell you several things.
I don't really care.
I worry about. Number one, an hour and a half continual debate. And most presidential debates, primary debates, you have commercial breaks. You get a chance
I love commercials.
You get a chance to talk to somebody, and you get a sense of how you're doing. You get a little feedback, and you're out there. You're on the island. You have no idea. I know David mentioned that President Obama after the first debate thought, I thought I did pretty good. Yet you when you're out there, you don't know. You think you're just in the moment. You're not looking at like, how am I doing? That never. So what happens, in particular, an hour and a half continuing no break, you can get into completely away from all the things that you were briefed on because you just become in the moment, and it's survival. You're out there on the island and you're surviving, and so all of this stuff. My point is, he's 77 years old. He's been doing this for a long time, and you can train him and train him and train him. But once you're on that island for a long period of time, you're going to snap back to things you feel comfortable doing, and that may not be
Which
good
is the same for President Trump, frankly.
Well, yeah, but we know he's going to do that. Yeah, we know he's going to do that.
I did in one of the final debates in the last time around, the second one, the intensity on that stage. I mean, I've done primary debates where it's 16 people, but to have it be just down to 2, it's like the molecules.
Well, when you're preparing for these things, what you want to do is you want to reduce all the guesswork. You want to sort of anticipate what's going to happen, and if you've prepared well, your team knows what you're going to say when a subject comes up, when the line comes that you expect to hear from the president, for example. Your team will know because you've practiced it and you've rehearsed it, and that's what you got to hope for if you're the Biden team tonight.
What do each need to do?
Well, if I'm Joe Biden, I'm going to take everything that Donald Trump says and I'm going to turn it to COVID. Do you even care about these 200,000 people who have died? What would it be like to have a president who believes in science? Talk to the American public. Don't talk to Donald Trump. You give him a flick of the wrist, as we were talking about. Let him insult you. Then go to the American public. Okay, there he does it again. Let's talk about your family.
What is Joe Biden, in your opinion, what is Joe Biden convincing the American public of, and what is President Trump trying to convince the American public?
Well, a couple things. First of all, Trump is going to say, you've been in office forever. You never did anything. You suck. Why should you even? I think he's going to just basically try to make it seem like Joe Biden is the establishment and the failed establishment. I think Biden has to point out he has a record.
Death Scythe. Death Scythe, Rob. Make them all look like they're gonna lose the game. They don't care about the play when the play is played. You try and get through school, but all you get is straight A's. Why can't we be a problem child? Got a problem child. Problematic. Oh, problematic. It's just like my fucking gun, automatic. And no, I'm not gonna fucking die. I'm a death son. I'm gonna fly. Oh, can we really do it? I guess not. But I can run at you with my scythe and kill you with a scythe. Because you all gonna die. Die. Die.
A bill that you think was too zealous. But I think that is likely to happen. Look, I think that all of that is true, but if the whole night is him dealing with his record, that would be a failure. He needs to deal with where we are now. And, the pivots that
Scythe.
are the ones he has to make. The Supreme Court
Scythe.
with pre-existing conditions and the Affordable Care Act.
Get your scythe out and show them how you kill.
And not average working folks like the people who Biden grew up with. And I think that, and he has to project.
Oh, you'll read. Get your scythe out. Show them how you kill.
He never talks about what he's going to do for the next 5 years. That's what Biden needs to do.
That's his weak point, because that's where Donald Trump is going to turn him into a socialist. I mean, is he for fracking or is he against fracking? And that's going to be a big issue. Is on the issue of the courts. Is he for stacking the court or is he against stacking the court? Joe Biden has tried to walk this razor's edge of being a cheerleader.
Hey guys, you want to? Yeah, some more. We gotta get some more chats. Come on, it'll bring people here. It does. It's the YouTube algorithms. Start talking.
Then you come into the question: is he up to it? If he dodges, which he's done so far on some of these issues, is he up to it?
Why does it keep going back? I guess when he goes, he's leaving it open and just coming back and forth.
Seem like a socialist. I think he's perfectly capable of, and he did it against Bernie over and over again, of giving his own position. And so I do think they're going to try that. They're going to try to put him in that socialist corner. I think that's going to be actually the Biden's benefit.
Well, and to your point, Rick, the question of is he up to it? On Fox News, it's all over. He's not up to being president. Joe Biden isn't up to being president. Joe Biden has to be commander in chief tonight. And
I agree. He has to be strong.
But he has to be as strong as Donald Trump. What does that say, honestly? So, Joe Biden has debated during this campaign. He's been out there. He has done a bunch of interviews, answered lots of questions.
He has not done a whole lot of campaigning for the past 6 months. Let's just be honest.
He's done a different kind of campaign.
I think, Rick, on the socialist point, one of the most effective lines in this whole campaign was when Biden turned to the camera and said, "Look at me. Do I look like a socialist, loving?" And it made the whole thing seem absurd. And this is the big problem that Donald Trump has, because Joe Biden is culturally inconvenient. He is an old, white, Catholic, working class guy who is moderate and does not look like
over the years.
Well, over the last 6-8 months, last year. I mean, he's changed his
Listen,
position.
we all watched the primary. He almost lost the primaries because he wasn't left enough.
I have a scythe.
Those primaries. I had a conversation on my podcast with Bernie Sanders the other day, and Bernie Sanders said, "Look, I'm way to the left of Joe on a bunch of stuff, and we're going to fight about it after Election Day." So I understand the tactic. I agree.
Yeah, I don't want you talking that way, David. Oh, here we come. Here comes the fucking authoritarian guys. Fucking authoritarian guys. Bring it down on me with your fucking voice suppression. What do you fucking got? You got some fucking voice suppression from me here? I'm just trying to do a show. You just no shows in this fucking communist utopia where everyone's equal. Is that what we gotta wait for here? No show. How dare you do a show? Oh my god. How dare you do a show? Authoritarian dictatorship, practically. Let this guy do a show.
That this question around the economy is a
David, you're a murderer. Oh, I'm a murderer now. What did you expect from my death? Of course, I go out there killing people. Fuck them. Yeah, I know. Of course, I go out there killing people.
moving things in a better direction, and then it slowed down under Trump. Right? Let's get back into the debate. So what does Trump have to do tonight? What's Biden have to do tonight? Okay, well, my point is simply this. I think that if Biden can take away from Trump this mythology that he was doing so great, you have family farmers going into the ditch because of the China.
Last guy left.
Corona. You had manufacturing stalling out before Corona. In other words, I think that the jump ball on the economy. If Biden can make the case for himself, I'm not only going to handle this pandemic better, I'm going to handle the economy better.
Can believe that you gotta die with your life capped at fucking 23 or maybe 34. Can't believe how many few years we have in store. It's his death scythe. Death scythe rap murderous. Murderous with a life cap on your years. I'm gonna come for you at 33. This is it. You die, can't deceive. That's death. Death coming for you. Death. Death, and you're through. No one can seem to avoid it. I'm going to come at you like cancerous hemorrhoids. You can't believe me. It's all going to have to make you die. This is what it feels like. Feels like to be alive. I have a scythe. Holy shit. Yeah, I know, right? Holy shit.
Higher taxes and more regulation don't lead to better jobs in the country. Both administrations, unfortunately.
Let's check back in with Jay.
I have a scythe.
So, Abby and Dana, one of the things that I'm wondering about right now is, so let's say that I'm an undecided voter in Pennsylvania, in middle Pennsylvania, and I like Trump's policies, but I'm concerned about his tweets, and maybe I'm unsure about the COVID response, and I'm really undecided. Does going after Hunter Biden, does going after Joe Biden in a nasty and personal way, beyond just normal political combat, does that win me over? I don't know that it does, right? If you already kind of don't like the tweets.
Yeah, I mean, the temperament issue is always a problem with Donald Trump. But, past his prologue here, looking back at 2016, this was true then too. He still never shied away from the antics and, the bringing of,
David, I want to talk to you. Can you put the thing away?
debate. I mean, he really leaned into the very things that people thought made him.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Voices in my head. Yeah, I'm not putting my show down so I can be harassed by you. I know, right? I'm not putting my show down so I can be harassed by you.
It has to matter to people because a lot of these same undecided voters, they'll say, well, I don't like his personality, but, I like my tax.
David, I want to fucking murder you.
Absolutely right, but you're onto something, Jake. And I've spoken to Trump advisors about this very thing. They're very well aware that Hillary Clinton is not.
Why is this guy a murderer? Could murder Dave, eh?
Of whether or not they're likable. Hillary Clinton was.
They always treat David like shit. It's so funny.
Donald Trump was then and is now, but Joe Biden isn't. People like him better than they like both of the other candidates, and that does matter when they're going to be perceiving how Donald Trump goes after him. But the Trump campaign, people around him think that he doesn't have a choice because right now it is completely a referendum on Donald Trump, and he needs to make it a contrast debate. Whether it's not just me, it's about whether you want me or this guy. And that's why he's going to be as aggressive as possible. I was told that for the first 30 minutes, he has been prepped to be as aggressive.
I have a scythe.
Well, I could see that, definitely. And that's also just who he is.
Right.
But I also think this entire campaign has been a contrast. I mean, that is right. Isn't that what Joe Biden has been trying to do, even calling a lid early in the day so that reporters understand he's not going to be in the news that day? He is trying to be a president you don't have to think about.
Right. But when, and you know this, the term contrast when you're the incumbent is this isn't just about me. This isn't a referendum on me. It is, do you want me or do you want the person who's on the other side of the stage? Because you think you don't like me, but if you don't have me, it's going to be me or him. And so the whole goal of any incumbent, especially this one, is to make the guy who wants his job even more undesirable.
But I do think one of the things you said about the level of energy that Donald Trump brings to a stage like this is really important. And not for all of the reasons that the Trump campaign wants to make it important, the sort of falsehoods about performance enhancing drugs. But I do think that as Biden is trying
It's a
to
seed,
be
fuck.
the adult in the room, he can't be so boring that he puts people to sleep. I really do think that it's got to be, he has to match Trump energy for energy on that stage. And that's easier said.
Dave,
than
what happened to your
done.
girlfriend?
Trying not to get into it, trying not to get into the gutter. I think that is one of the big challenges.
Can't afford internet, can't afford girlfriend.
How do you find a middle?
Oh, I know. Can't afford internet, can't afford girlfriend. Yeah.
You know, the boring guy, or you don't seem like you have, you know, as much sort of enthusiasm for the job as Trump. I mean, Trump makes the stage and everything about him, and makes everything that he says about himself seem really great.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, he does have a certain. I mean, both men have charisma, and Donald Trump is certainly a much more vigorous person, and they try to draw that contrast all the time. What if President Trump is asked a question, and he does what he normally does, which is kind of just a word salad, and he pivots and then attacks.
Dave, why do you want to do this?
Chris Wallace goes to Joe Biden, and what if Joe Biden were to say, just as the adult in the room, he didn't answer your question. I'm willing to give my time to him so he answers your question, because he doesn't have an answer, Chris. He doesn't have an answer.
I mean, that could be a very good tactic. The downside, I think, from the Biden perspective and the way that they have prepped him is to own the stage.
Yeah.
And it's hard to own the stage if you're giving up your time to somebody to prove that they don't have an answer. And the other thing is, if past his prologue, Donald Trump didn't have a lot of answers in 2016. Hillary Clinton did, and it didn't make
Yeah,
sense.
but now he has a record.
Well,
Now he has a record.
sometimes I think this brings up a very important point about tonight. We're going into a debate in which everybody wants to say, I'm not the fact checker. When Donald Trump is given his 2 minutes or however long he's given to speak, oftentimes the answers are just not true. It's an asymmetrical situation here where more often than not, President Trump says things that are not true.
David, I want something for Coral.
Often than other people in the political sphere. So there is a challenge here where Biden is going to have to manage somebody who is a much more prolific liar and teller of falsehoods. And on one particular issue, I think this is going to be critical: the economy. There is nothing that the president likes to inflate more than his misstatements of the Obama-Biden record and his statements about his own.
I have a scythe.
Biden will be hard pressed to let that slide.
You're exactly right. But there is a fine line from the
You sound really fucking good, David.
again, how I'm told they prepped him, which is you can't be fact checking all night long, because then by definition you are going to be playing on Donald Trump's turf. There will be moments though where he's not going to have a choice but to jump in and say, Mr. President, you're just wrong. But he's going to have to pick his moments because he doesn't want to be the fact checker.
Yeah, there are facts to. I mean, the run-of-the-mill lies that politicians tell. There's the abundance of run-of-the-mill lies that President Trump tells, and then there are
No internet, no girlfriend. Yeah, I know.
heard from this campaign, which we've never had before in American history. Let's go to Wolf Blitzer.
All right, Jake, I want to bring in CNN political director David Shelley. And so, David, set the stage for us on tonight's debate, specifically CNN's exclusive instant poll that will give us a quick read on who won.
Yeah, well, setting the stage of the mission here for Donald Trump, I want to pick up on something you just heard Dana Bash mentioning. This is the entire mission.
David, if you release their hostages, I'll let you go.
As much as it is about Donald Trump. Donald Trump has failed to do that, Wolf.
I don't have hostages.
Campaign. He couldn't do it across the 4 nights of his Republican National Convention. We're now 5 weeks away from Election Day. He has to follow the successful re-election models of President Bush in 2004 against John Kerry.
David, I know you have hostages.
Against Mitt Romney. They successfully made
I don't have any hostages. David, would you turn the camera off? It's 9 o'clock. You're gonna wake up you're gonna bother my father. Make him come down here and yell at me.
Tonight is one of the last best chances for him to do so. People are voting. So those are the stakes tonight.
If you hit me, I'll kill you.
Who enters this as the underdog. You mentioned the poll. One of the things I'm fascinated to see
coming out of tonight's debate in our instant poll, not only will we learn from debate watchers who they think won the debate, but we're also going to see if opinions on the candidates changed.
Holy shit.
Debate before the debate started, and then did anything change coming out of the debate in terms of their opinion of Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Another thing we're going to check in on, folks, is who they think can better handle the issues. You've gone through all the big 6 topics and the areas that are going to be debated, but we'll learn in our instant poll tonight on some of these major issues.
David, I want to call the police. Not with me or not. I there's nothing. You don't exist. You're invisible. Go away. Leave me alone.
Take a look. You can see what people are talking up there.
David, I'm not going anywhere.
Away from the start of this debate, it's going to be a significant.
What a faggot. Yeah, I know. He's such a faggot.
Let's do this. I was training for the Olympics and unfortunately I got injured and didn't make the team.
David, would you turn the camera off?
I did anything and everything.
What are you gonna? What are they gonna? Why do they want me to turn the camera off? Yeah, I know. What are they gonna kill you?
They say it's based on a cognitive behavioral approach. I just say it works.
Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
And you're looking at the debates page.
Death save. Murder save rap. Death save. Murder save rap. Death save. Murder save rap.
Shake hands per the regulations because COVID-19. Although in past debates that has also not occurred. In the second debate that I did, he did not shake hands with Hillary Clinton, given the tensions. Just in the last couple of minutes now, David.
Yo. Yo. Better, been the beneficiary of a lot of evil, concentrated in the palm of my hand, and I can kill them all and be the last man. And that's why I have a death scythe, does damage, and it'll take your life.
What Trump is going to try and do is have those little viral moments, get those little jabs in. I think what Biden has to do is to stand there long enough to pull his coalition together and lock it in with his character, with his empathy.
If that happens the way Van described it, Trump won't be the president after this, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think Donald Trump will, from the first minute, be on attack, and just whether they ask a question about him, he will turn it and attack. I mean, this will be an hour and a half of Joe Biden just getting beat up. I think they believe that they have to make this race about Joe Biden, number one, and they believe he won't be able to stand up under the pressure.
But can't Joe Biden attack back? I mean, can't he attack back?
I'm just telling you, if I were the Biden, I'd be prepared for an hour and a half street fight.
Listen, I don't think they want that, but if
Kill them with a scythe. I have a scythe.
One of the things that this president hasn't really been able to define Joe Biden for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, when you're running a campaign against him, a challenger, you want to make that challenger as much of an issue as you. And he had,
Up and down the mountainside.
we find they've tried many different avenues, and they haven't been able to make one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to sing here.
And now we're 34 days out. It's getting late.
Up and down the mountainside, where the falling boulders collide. In a small township village, when artists come to pillage, as the pillage oblivion, and ice cracks, you know you're going in. Criminal relaunch, ready to go. Can't believe it's the start of a show. Rainy day, but cool summer mist. Who'd have thought it'd get hot like this? This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. I'm hot cause I'm fly. You ain't cause you not. This is why I'm hot. Develop the loophole of love. Research all the above and link these lines. One more time. Baby boom clap. Let it out it. One last rap. Had enough of that. Just enough of that. Before and the after. I'ma live in personal disaster for this. Down at the bottom of the abyss. Wrapped up in spirals. And lines that go on for miles. Can you feel my energy today dripping down through the cracks? We tripping now, are you good with that? So many trying to confront artistic endeavor. Fuck 'em all with catalytic fader. Slick wit with enough to get paid her. Rank back up, colleagues to cluck, and the girls to say, what the fuck?
That's a gamble. But if they're willing to take,
You also need more than Republicans.
Hey guys, we got a third customer.
Republicans, you have to persuade others. And the fact is, if you look at this polling and you ask who has the mental acuity to be president, they're pretty even in this regard. So they've got a lot of ground.
Dave, why isn't it getting out? Why aren't people joining? And why was Twitch the exact same way?
I think you do have people who are in the Democratic coalition right now who they want to vote because they want to vote against Donald Trump.
I don't know, maybe I'm getting squelched.
Reassurance tonight it's not just Republicans who need that reassurance. I think there's some Democrats who need that reassurance too, that he's tough enough, that he's strong enough. But I think that he's going to be up to it. If you remember when he was in that big old mix of all the other Democrats, he kind of looking lost and cut himself off. Once it got down to just him and Bernie, he was able to hang. And I don't think it's just because Bernie didn't go after him personally. I think it's because I think Joe has a lot to say and wants to say it and will say it tonight.
I mean, don't forget one thing I was thinking of is looking back at the debates in 2016. The old Trump thing, what have I got to lose? 2016, not as much as he has to lose now. There's a lot to lose now, and he's going to be tough.
How do you see the debate starting just in terms of topics? I mean, what's the first question from
Isn't it hard?
Is it COVID? Is it tax?
Isn't it hard for the tax thing not to be?
I think Chris
high up in
it could.
this?
I as a occasional moderator, there's a couple different ways to go about it.
And they can also
Taxes
do
would be the
court.
obvious one.
Yeah, I think the courts also just, I mean, those are the two most recent news would be the court nomination and taxes. You would probably lead with what's
But
one of those.
sometimes if something's so obvious, other than the taxes, for instance, you might go COVID with there's the Trump.
Dave, why did you take Bell Media hostage?
The only reason I think Wallace doesn't lead with the tax because it's clearly leading with just an antagonistic topic.
Right.
And I think coming out of the box, that just may look. I just think we'll look badly. I think we'll make Chris look like he's taking sides.
Also, you can make the argument as a moderator.
Why'd you do it, Dave? Why'd you kill everyone at Bell Media?
Joe Biden's going to mention it no
I'd
matter
take
what.
something that's a lot more neutral as a starter. That way, you're not setting the table, picking one side's
Which would be
weak
what?
point as opposed to something.
On your
else.
point, Rick, about whether Biden can execute on what Gloria suggests, which is to hit and pivot. We're going to know very quickly, I think.
David, I want you to call. No, I'm not calling anyone for you. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And we'll know if he has a strategy to deal with that. I think we'll get a sense early in this.
And here's the point.
Hey, you're always getting pretty angry. I wouldn't yell at me. I'll kill you for that.
Any feedback, whether that strategy is actually working. Because
He says, I wouldn't yell at me. I'll kill you for that.
working or not, because that's what he was trained to do, or he may be sticking to it, and the fact that Trump keeps hammering me, thinking, well, it's not working, I better change.
But he
All
wasn't
those
born
things are
yesterday.
dynamics that, again, unless you're out there on that stage, you have to live that. You have no idea what's going on.
Also, in debates, if you look at the ones with Clinton, Donald Trump is almost sort of doing a jazz performance. I mean, he's like riffing on what's happening.
Yeah.
Holding the mic. Right. I mean, he's actually enjoying it. Whereas the other person is clearly not enjoying the experience. And I wonder if
But the point is, it's debilitating. And that's the point I keep making. It's in overtime, an hour and a half. It is where you
There, Blue's head off.
And these are two these are two men who love their families. They're very, very committed to family stuff. And so I'm
I'm very curious to see what's going to happen.
Death Scythe. Death Scythe rap. Death Scythe. Death Scythe rap. Kill him with the scythe. They don't notice that. It's Death Scythe. Death Scythe rap. Kill him with the bat. With your staff. Show them that. They can't really handle that.
I think that we maybe sort of we're talking about Biden getting hit and then pivoting, but I think Biden
Laugh, ha 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 ha.
I do.
It goes so far.
Family crusade.
Hoo 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 hoo. It would seem who. La di da, la di do. Da di dee, da di oo.
Closing thoughts as we prepare for this big moment.
That this is really one of the most important moments that we've seen in politics, certainly since we've all been covering it, definitely for me, because of the reasons that we were talking about. We are in a pandemic, and people have...
Would you leave David alone, please?
...see these candidates in the traditional ways that we usually see candidates, especially at this late stage of the game. And this is a high...
David already stopped shooting the hostages. Would you go away?
There's First Lady Melania Trump walking in with a mask. Not often seen at events where her husband is featured, but all of her family walked in with masks. Abby?
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget the fact that we are in a country in crisis. And I think the American people are looking for some version of strength, and they're going to see two different kinds here tonight. One man, President Trump, who leads from his gut, and another man, Joe Biden, who says to the American public, I'm leading with the help of experts and my own experience in government. Those are two very stark choices, and I think it's going to be really on display. But to the extent that these two men have strengths and weaknesses, you know, watching them and covering them over the years, I think this is going to be a well-matched fight, and it's going to be a slugfest.
Except it's very different styles, right? One guy conveys empathy, the other guy conveys, you can call it toughness, you can call it nastiness. I remember in 2012 when Obama had his first debate after 4 years being president, he had been in a bubble, only talking to the people who really liked him and supported him. He hadn't done a lot of interviews that year, and he was rusty and out of shape. And talk about a bubble. I mean, people talk about the liberal bubble, the MAGA bubble that Donald Trump is in, where he talks to, you know, Judge Jeanine and Fox folks, although I guess he does have a Fox moderator. I wonder what effect that will have.
It could. I mean, and it's not just President Obama. George W. Bush didn't do well in his first debate. This is kind of the problem that incumbent presidents have, which is why this president, despite the fact that they have been trying to lower expectations, saying he hasn't really practiced, he has practiced. He has gotten the you-know-what kicked out of him by his aides and advisors in debate prep, because they know that he has been in a bubble because he's president of the United States.
It's not just that he's president of the United States.
No,
he secludes himself with these sycophantic reporters.
It's also because
Wow, yeah, I know we can derail him.
he doesn't like to talk about his
Holy shit!
under his skin in that way. And did he do enough preparation for those things? I do think, though, to concede to the president in some ways, he does take tough questions from the media all the time. He doesn't always answer.
From the White House press corps.
From the White House press
Absolutely.
corps.
I mean, in interviews, like in long
Not in
interviews.
interviews,
Yeah.
but the White House press corps.
Absolutely.
Does that matter?
No, it does matter, and that is something that he does that Obama did not. But I guess the point is he's in a reward.
David, what's up there for cool? No.
Stuff gets applauded.
Well, don't call what you want. Go to hell, David.
Building to for months, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden taking the stage, going head-to-head in their first presidential debate at this crucial time in America's history. The pandemic, the economy, race in America, the Supreme Court. They will be asked about the very difficult issues Americans are facing right now, the first of 3 presidential debates about to begin.
All right, looks like it's starting, guys. So get your stuff on.
Good evening from the Health Education campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates.
2020 presidential debates.
And former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The commission has designed the format, 6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers.
Holy shit, yeah, it always, David.
Then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the two candidates. This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission for all 4 debates. As a precaution, both campaigns have agreed that candidates will not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent for cheers, boos, or other interruptions so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
Here is President Trump. Mr. Biden. Vice President Biden.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated
David, I'm going to murder you.
over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear.
David, turn off the camera.
To consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate.
Can't pull from the blade.
White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way, In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected.
David, I want you to turn the camera off.
Student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they're trying to do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen.
David, turn the camera off.
We have the right to do it.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this. Look forward to this, Mr. President. The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is. And that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States.
David, I am going to execute you.
Now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is. Because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president, who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that. He ran on that,
He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which
Don't hit me or I'll kill you. Dave, don't talk to me that way.
health insurance now, if it goes into court, and the justice, and I have nothing. I'm not opposed to the justice, and she seems like a very fine person, but she's written before she went to bench, which is her right.
David, what did you do? Holy shit, he killed him.
The other thing is on the court.
Fuck you!
What happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again, a woman could be held more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more.
I'm trying to do my show. Would you stop yelling at me?
Yeah, and that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people.
Sorry, guys. I have voices. They yell at me. This is what I put up with.
Those pre-existing conditions, insurance companies are going to love this, and so it's just not appropriate to do this. Not, we should wait.
As far as the Senate is concerned, okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president in the Senate is elected for a period of time. The president's elected for 2 years.
David, turn the monitor off.
3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president elected for the next. During that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years. And the 100 million people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very.
That's simply not true.
Well, you said we're going to socialist. We're going to socialist.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number one, he knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare.
David, I'm not interested in your fucking voices. I'll kill you. Okay, with a scythe.
We're saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
Not what you've said, and it's not what your party has said.
That is simply.
Your party doesn't say. Your party wants to go socialist.
My party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now. I am.
And
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is.
David, I want to talk to you. I'm looking forward to this debate for months. Would you please shut up?
Here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act?
Joe, you've had 308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And if you were here, it
Look, here's
wouldn't be
the deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You
Late
didn't
on
want me
the
to
draw.
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen,
Europe,
wait,
which
no,
was heavily
Mr.
infected.
President,
You would have been
Mr.
much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr.
Much
President,
later.
Mr.
You're
President,
talking about 2 million people.
You're
Mr.
not gonna
President,
shut
as a
up.
moderator, we are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is all.
You don't know it's on the ballot.
Why is it on the ballot? Because
Why is it
you
on the
said
ballot? It's not on the ballot.
it's on the ballot in the
I don't
court.
think so.
In the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald, would
And you
just
don't
be quiet
know
for a minute?
her view on Roe v. Wade.
I
You
don't
her
know.
view.
Well, all right, let's talk.
Holy crap, David. I want you to stop doing that.
On healthcare, and then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade. All right, Mr. President, the Supreme Court.
Dave, all you ever do is attack us.
After the election, in which the Trump administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last
Because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask that question, sir.
I want something for Coral, David.
The last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare.
I want something for Coral.
Come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes, I
to
have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course,
Well,
I
I'll give
got
you
rid
an
of the
opportunity.
individual
I'm
mandate.
going to give you an
Excuse me,
opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That
big
is not a
chunk of Obama.
comprehensive
That
plan.
is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst
I
part of
didn't ask you,
Obamacare.
sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part of
me.
Obama.
Let me ask my
Well,
question.
I'll ask Joe.
I
The
know.
individual mandate was the most unpopular
Mr. Vice
aspect of
Mr.
Obamacare. I got
President,
rid of it.
I'd like
And
to
we will
Mr.
protect people with
President, I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead.
You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump healthcare plan?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. There's nothing.
Dude, why don't you tell us about how you're going to kill every hostage?
I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting healthcare. All of the things that we've done, insulin. I give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth? So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs that what we're doing, prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because when they pay just a tiny fraction.
This is open discussion.
No,
Let me
but
ask
this
you,
is big- this
you'll be
is big
happy,
stuff.
sir. You'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the vice president, which is he points out that you would like to add a public option to Obamacare. And the argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that that is going to end private.
David, do you want to kill the president?
I thought I asked you the question. It will
Not what the
end.
party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agree
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders,
I-
who's
I
far
did-
left, on the manifesto, we call it. And that gives you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
Are
I'm
you
not
saying
going
you
to
didn't agree?
listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days
I tell
early.
you,
You would have lost every
all he
primary.
knows how to
On
do.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to make sure because here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you,
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure.
You ordered last in your class.
I-
First in
I I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
He doesn't know how to do that. He has, you know, you pick
Be surprised.
the wrong guy, the wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the
The whole
manifesto.
idea,
Let him-
there is no manifesto. Number
Please let him
one.
speak, Mr.
Number two.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
David, do you want to kill the president?
You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
Absolutely
folks,
agreed
do you
to
have
it.
any idea?
I'm not going to let them talk to you that way, David.
Do you have any do?
Socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I tell you what.
Doing it,
It's
sir.
not for any help for people needing health care. Because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two, there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it
David,
away.
I know you want to kill the president.
At a much lower price because
But he
Obamacare
doesn't know how. He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed
He
it.
has never
I've
offered
already
a
fixed
plan.
it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the
It's
same
still good,
time,
and it's still expensive.
let the president, go ahead, sir.
Obamacare
Kill him!
is better. And I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We
I have to get out of my death cloak. He's going to come down here.
Took away the individual mandate. This is the way it is. And that destroyed, that, they shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well or badly. If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people. Okay? I said, you got to run it so well. And I just had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive. Premiums are too high. And it doesn't work. So we do want to get rid of it. Chris, we want to get rid of it.
I understand this, but I have to give you roughly equal time. Please let the vice president talk.
He has no plan for healthcare. He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive order that have no power. He hasn't been able to promise in the healthcare plan since he got elected. He has not, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, I have one final question for you, Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead...
David, I would like something for Corral. No. I want an Iranian nuclear missile for Corral, dude. No.
You call this a distraction by the president, but the fact it wasn't brought up by the president, it was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take in that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're senators. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Who's on
your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this is so unprecedented.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
47 years he's done nothing. Wow.
Subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject. So let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million
Death sigh rap. You gotta do it. You can't get respect in the streets because everybody is like fucking working the beat. They're all spies. They're all goddamn fucking fuzz. Can't believe that. Everyone still gives a fuck.
My question for both of you is, based on what you have said,
Can't believe that. Anyone still gives a fuck.
Starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back.
David, I want something for Corral.
He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out back in March exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July.
Would you have even woken up for it, Joe? Come on. Would you even woken up for it, Joe? Come on. Like, you look like you're sleeping now.
People the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It cost a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to you,
You have 2 minutes, sir.
if we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000. And one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that
David, I want to kill the president.
necessarily on my side
I didn't say that. The voices did. Oh, okay.
We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are.
I'm still gonna post this. I'm not gonna let you fucking destroy my show. This is my artistic expression. I get to express myself. Yeah, I know. This is my artistic expression. I get to express myself.
They give me bad press because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've got
Fuck you,
news.
David.
I'll tell you, Joe. You could never
Fuck
have done
you.
the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job.
Well, you didn't do very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was
A
no
very-
economic
Let him
recession.
start. You made a
There
point.
was no recession.
You made a point. Let him
And
answer.
there was no, we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy, the speed he shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them, had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye?
You would have lost far
How
more
many
people.
That
Far
is-
more people.
And,
You would have been
and by the way,
months late.
your own,
You were
his
months behind me,
his
Joe.
own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held him. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just the mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all. Nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
Johnson, Pfizer.
And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen,
and that-
gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future because you both have touched on one of the
No, not Pfizer. Don't talk about Pfizer.
either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists.
David, I want to kill people.
The head of the Centers
You don't even. This voice doesn't even sound like me. I know this voice doesn't even sound like David.
the vaccine would become
I talk up here. This is how I talk.
the public. You said that he was
Up here.
and mistaken. Those were your two words. But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they-
I don't want to kill anyone. I just want to just sit here and enjoy my show.
It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing.
David, I'm gonna kill the president. See that? That's not me.
All of the people that you have to speak to,
That's just the voice.
Moderna, Johnson & Johnson,
I'm up here.
They can go faster
Up here.
than that by a lot.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, fuck you, David. I don't really give a fuck about anything you have to fucking say.
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available.
Because he said it's a possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also be
when
after
it's
that.
generally available.
Well, we're going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up logistically. They're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers, and they can do 200,000 a day. They're going to be.
This is the
delivering to them.
same man.
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
By Easter, this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the
I
same
would have
man.
said sarcastic.
That was
you
him.
know that.
I
I would have said
And
sarcastic.
so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out. If we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we
Mr.
will.
Vice President, I want to pick up
You'll have
on
the
that.
vaccine
I
soon.
want to pick up on this question though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying you can't,
Everybody
or
knows.
Senator
And-
Harris.
You
is
hit
saying
me,
you
I'll
can't
kill
trust
you.
the
No,
scientists.
well, no, you can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't trust
She said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions of scientists, there's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and by-
scientists that are in
by
charge.
the way,
They will have the vaccine very soon.
you believe for a moment.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Holy shit.
In light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue relating to COVID, he still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying it. He panicked or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people die. And a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker,
So-
Mr. President.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if you would have had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
No,
If you would have had the charge of what I was put through, I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
See,
And
We're
it's
going to
going
get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast.
Okay. When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to
Tell
provide
that to
them
Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he just shush for a minute.
Tell it to
See,
Nancy
no,
Pelosi.
And
Schumer,
by the
crying
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with the Senate. And he sits in his golf course. And I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play
think
more than
about
I
it.
do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact
Well, he wants to shut down this country,
Oh.
and I want to keep it open. And we
You
did a
can't-
great
he
thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he'd
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute, Joe. Let me shut you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second. He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people
They
will
will be
hurt
killed.
by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on
Yeah.
November 3rd. Because it's a political. But those states are not doing well that are shut down right now.
President
shut
Trump,
down
you
the
have
whole
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks are
efficacy
okay.
of
You have to
masks?
understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on it, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rally.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to. We provided money.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also
It
said the
matters.
opposite. They've
And
also said
no serious person said the opposite. No serious.
Dr. Fauci said the
He
opposite.
did not say the opposite.
He said very strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks. I'm okay with masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both about
masks.
one last subject because your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding a large rally.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Everyone knows masks are the only thing that changed between opening up and now. Masks are proven by the fact that we don't have a big increase in rates until school opened. Yeah, I know we don't. Masks are proven by that.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But are you not
doing a
worried
great
about it
job as
spreading
a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
and
not
hangars.
worried about
We
the
have a
disease
lot of
issues,
people. Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see one of the last good rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on a mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. But that's what he said. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing one
We've
another.
had no negative
to
effect.
jail. No negative effect.
We've had no negative effect. And we've had 35, 40,000
All right,
people
you wanna-
at these rallies.
Just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encouraged them not to.
All right.
And he's a fool.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't.
I'm gonna do my weed stuff.
Can we move on to the
There's no one here.
Can we move on to the economy? Yes. The economy is, I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown.
I know. I talk up here,
In the second quarter. The
all the way up
unemployment
here.
rate fell to
I was still very
8.4%
low.
last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening at some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look at these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce, look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. and he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's
No.
shut it down.
All right, your 2 minutes, sir. We now move to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a V-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how will you do? This guy paid a total of $750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's just yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people who've been putting themselves in a way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America, and he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools, why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration were going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. You ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right, your time is up, sir. We are going to get to.
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both got 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools. No, people want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their life. They'll
want
be
to be
careful,
safe.
but they want their schools open. I'm the one that brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
All right,
the people of Ohio are very proud of me. And you know
We're
how
going to
I
get
got
back,
that? When you took it
gentlemen,
from
we're
me,
going to
yeah.
get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each of those 2 years?
I paid millions of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers that I paid $38 million 1 year. I paid $27 million.
Show us your tax
1 year. I went, you'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to do, go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under leveraged because the assets are extremely good. And we have I built
Sir, I'm asking you a specific question, which is.
Let me tell you.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that. No, Mr. President, I'm asking you a question. Will you
Wow.
tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 700.
Millions of dollars. And you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it. But let me remind you, Chris, let me just say something that it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We built a building and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cut. And we're going to eliminate those taxes and make sure that we invest in the people who in fact need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you were president screwing things up.
You were a senator.
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just say, Joe, I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy as it's just coming out of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what is the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying America. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
Well, by the way, I'm going to eliminate significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it
Billions of dollars.
You were Vice President Obama.
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
Right.
your
I got
tax
it.
proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
You got it done.
Our economy boomed.
And
It's never boomed.
The economy is
Mr.
busted.
President, Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation.
Lower tax for American people.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look, we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't booming. It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery since
Is it fair to say he blew it when, in fact, when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
wait.
Number two.
Chris,
number three.
They said it would take. No, you were number two.
No.
Chris, they said it would
This
take a
guy.
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing. Stand it fair.
I'm the guy
He
that brought
totally
back the
gave up on
automobile.
manufacturing.
We brought back, I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having.
And they didn't come in like you.
Mr. Vice President.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All right,
They
gentlemen,
ate 10%. China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
That's
What
not
did he
true.
do to deserve it?
That
What
is-
did he do with Burisma
None
to
of that
deserve
is true.
$183,000?
None of that is true. None of that is true.
Oh, really? He didn't
Totally,
get
Mr. President.
it's
Mr.
totally,
President, please.
totally
ask the question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he
it's
didn't
all-
get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President.
it is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh,
President,
But, Mr.
it's an open discussion, please.
No,
It's a fact.
Well,
There's,
you
it is
have
not.
raised an issue, let the
It's been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay
report.
$183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr.
Look,
President,
my son did nothing wrong at
I
Burisma.
think he did.
Mr.
The only
President,
guy that
let him
did
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly
By
discredited.
who?
And you
The
can-
media.
by everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank,
embarrassed.
by everyone as discredited. Matter of fact, even
Mr.
the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
So let me ask you this. Joe.
Henry,
No, no, go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to
even
you.
People under,
You got $3.5
He
million from
testified-
Moscow.
he testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I did
really?
it
I'd like to know who
honorably.
they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the
I'll
people who
No, no,
testified.
go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a
Some
good
because
job.
Some people don't do
Well,
a good
here's,
job. With you,
Go ahead, you get the, wait a minute, you get the final word. Mr.
well, it's hard to get any word into this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey, let me
this
just tell you,
No, I'm Mr. President.
$3.5
Mr.
million,
President.
Joe.
That is simply.
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million from
It-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about families and ethnic.
See how lowly regarded clowns are?
I mean,
Yeah, let's just stop and analyze what he said there. This clown, he got you good because I don't like you anymore. Yeah, I know. You just lost me. You don't like clowns? I was born. I'm here. I get to be part of this society. And this clown, you know, I'm the clown. I'm the clown too, eh? Oh, it doesn't take me seriously. You beat you there because I can't stand by a Joe. It doesn't stand by me. I'm a clown. Yeah, I know. I'm a clown.
You're going to have true. Gentlemen, I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to be, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal. We have 6 segments.
Just kill this right.
We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I've been asked a question about race, but if you want to answer about something
Oh
else,
my
go
God,
ahead.
Dave, don't put children there.
I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more
Oh,
interrupting.
that's
than
all
you
right,
have.
but he does plenty.
Well, less than you, sir, less
There's
than
plenty.
no, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago,
I'm a clown.
when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
This clown.
said that you believe you have done
I know, right?
for Black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. We've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is...
Yeah, I'm watching it, dear. It's good, dear.
Remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president's ever said anything like that.
It is who's
Now, second point I'd make to you is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed, there was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then
See, I has a little seizure. I have them sometimes. Sorry, guys.
the church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares at all. This man's done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what he talks about. You have to look at
Niggas coming for me, he says.
Disastrous for the African American community.
So, President Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should...
Yeah, we gonna die. Yeah, I know. He said, I heard that part. That's funny. We gonna die.
1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir. It's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the Black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You called them super predators, and you've called them worse than that.
Oh, we lost our entire audience. Fuck.
You've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and
Okay,
as
but
far
someone's
as the
back.
generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals. Total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question of race.
That side of the rap.
Decided not to charge any of the police with homicide. You said it raises the question, quote,
That side of the rap.
in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but
Gotta get more death on the streets. Ain't enough death on the streets. Gotta get more death. Believe. Gotta get more death. Believe. Gotta get more death. Gotta get more death. More sunshine. More of the valleys and the vines. More of the age-old questions before. Like, what is this all for? It's like I fall in love one day. Look into the future I wanna pave. Broken up in sunshine, it's hooray. I wanna believe. I wanna believe. But no one is here to see that. Okay, whatever. They'll watch it on the replay, I guess.
But you say it is.
President Trump, I'd like to continue with the issue of race. I promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment.
I don't think we could do this with 3 people. I don't think so either, dude. I don't think we could do this with 3 people. 3 people would. People are popping in and out really fast now. If they just stick around, we have more people. Yeah, no. I've got no likes yet. Guys, please leave a like.
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody else, and he would know.
What is radical about racial sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the They were teaching people that our country. They were teaching people to hate our country.
He's racist. Here's the deal. I know a lot more about this.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like, what insults them. It's important that people know they don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic difference.
David, I want something fucking raw.
A sense of
No.
esteem. It's a little bit like how this guy and his friends look down on so many people. They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me who grow up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There was hatred. You look at Ferguson. You go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now. But the reason is that the Democrats that run these cities don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
you
crime.
Still haven't mentioned.
Violent
Are you
crime.
in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you in
it a little
favor
bit
of law and order?
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
This is
Law and order. Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration. It's gone up on his watch.
Much more.
He had.
All right, we're now. Mr. President, you're going to. Mr. President,
every record in the
Mr. President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
We had trouble with Democratic-run cities.
That's exactly my question. There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer, particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact, there have been.
Hey guys, how's it going?
in
Hope you like the stream.
cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party
Fuck you and your David voice. Yeah, I know he's always David for
Give you
him.
a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot and 8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200% crime. It is crazy what's going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone. And you would see problems like
He
you've never
wouldn't
seen.
know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
So much
I was
better.
raised,
Go ahead, wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950. All these dog whistles and racism don't work anymore. Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because his refusal to do anything. That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order, though. And in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie Sanders task force, you talked about, quote, reimagining policing. First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support?
It means,
let me, if I might finish the question, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter call for?
What I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police officers. Matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding in his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be
That's
engaged.
not what they're
in-
talking about,
that-
Chris. That's
what-
not what
that-
they're
that's
He's talking
exactly-
about defunding the
that,
police.
that is not true.
He doesn't have any law
Well, you,
support.
look,
He has no law enforcement.
that's not
support,
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
not, that, look,
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go
Look,
ahead.
look.
Think. We have time.
we don't have time to do
No, no,
anything.
think
except
about
listen.
it.
No,
Name
folks,
one law enforcement group that
Well,
came out and
I think,
supported
gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the
There
moderator's
aren't. I don't
role,
think there
and
are
I want to get to another subject, which is the issue of protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. The Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now, have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you stop the days and months of violence in Portland?
I don't hold public office. I'm a former vice president. I've made it clear in my public statements that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted. And anyone who commits it
But
should
you've
be
never
prosecuted.
called for the people, the leader, excuse me, sir. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to call
Because
bring in the National Guard and knock off 100 days of riots.
They can, in fact, take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look here.
Oh, really?
Here.
Oh, really?
Here's the
But
thing.
I sent in the
wait, I
U.S.
asked you a
Marshal to
question.
get the killer of a young man in the middle of the street, and they shot him. And for 3
Yes,
days,
President Trump.
Portland
President
wouldn't do
Trump.
anything.
Let's
I had to send
interrupt
in
that.
the U.S. Marshal, and
President
they took
Trump.
care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all
I
about.
don't know who said that.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said
She said that. And so here's the point.
Go
The
ahead.
point is that that's what he is keep trying to rile everything up. he doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying, let's get rid
I have a scythe.
what's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire constantly and every single solitary.
Okay, and to end this,
I kill with a scythe.
you have repeatedly criticized.
Answer his
No, you have
his statement.
you've been talking.
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love
Guys, thumbs up time. Let's do it. Thumbs ups.
Switch seats. We can
very quickly.
we can do that, but I'm
No.
But they don't want to accept the national guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing
That's right.
extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Florida?
This switch is
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right
So
wing.
what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists
Who
and
would
white
you like me to condemn?
supremacists and white
Proud
supremacists.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left because this is not a right wing problem. This is a left wing. This is a left wing problem.
white supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what his
It's an idea.
FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
That's not an idea.
Everybody in your administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you
You
what?
have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen, we're
group.
now moving on to the Trump
And
and
you're gonna
Biden
be
record.
They'll overthrow you.
When a president, I'm going to ask a question. When a president seeks a second term, it is generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, "Don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative." And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things, where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an administration that's done what I've done. The greatest
Come back,
lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling and they were saying it's time maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it back up again. A rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA, which was a mess under him. 308,000 people died because they didn't have proper health care. It was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets. But we've rebuilt our military. The job that we've done, and I'll tell you something, some people say maybe the most important. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court judges, justices.
I don't know if I want 8 years of Biden. I just, because you got to remember it's 8 years of Biden. We're talking about 8 years. You think they'll ever put another Democrat in?
Judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like, you just don't do that. They left 128 openings. And if I were a member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president. You can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost, it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300 judges. It's a record.
Looking at both your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker, sicker, poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, We inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy, and he caused the recession. With regard to being weaker, the fact is that I've gone head to head with Putin and made it clear to him we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to even say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
Your son got
No.
$3.5 million.
And by the way,
Mr.
my
President,
son,
wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed that both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
he never keeps his word. Can you add
No,
back
I'm not asking. That was a rhetorical question.
Can you
Go
add
ahead,
back
sir.
30 seconds?
Yes, you may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, thirdly, we're poor. The billionaires have gotten much more wealthy by a tune of over
Which one of here is scary? Yeah, I know it is. I gotta make it sharper.
You and the whole, you got less. You're in more trouble than you were before. In terms of being more violent, when we were in office, there was 15% less violence in America than there is today. He's president of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and being and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent like hell. I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It
For
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president, he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made a
son,
fortune,
my son,
and he didn't have a job.
my son, like a lot of people you know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it. And I'm proud of him.
But why
I'm
was he
proud of
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right, but he
dollars?
wasn't given
All right,
tens of
he
millions
was
of dollars.
given
That
tens
is
of
totally,
millions of
that
dollars.
is totally
We've already
discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial
So do I.
subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a
I know, but
judgment
when
call
somebody
here.
gets $3.5 million
Okay, right.
from the
Let's
mayor
talk
of Moscow.
Let's talk
That is
about
not
it.
true.
Gentlemen,
That report is totally
Why did he-
discredited.
I
Mitt Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers' money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
you know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
Okay. The forest fires in the West are raging now. They have burned millions of acres. They have displaced hundreds of thousands of people. When state officials there blame the fires on climate change, Mr. President, you said, I don't think the science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. You have rolled back a number of Obama
that's good.
records. What do you believe about the science of climate change, and what will you do in the next 4 years to confront it?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint. And people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees that are years old, and they're like tinder, and leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette in there, the whole forest burns down. You've got to have forest management.
What do you
You've gotta have
believe?
guts.
What do you believe about the science of climate change?
I believe that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air,
Holy
immaculate
shit.
water, and do whatever else we can that's good. You know, we're planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project, and it's very
Do you
exciting.
believe that human pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of
I
the
think
climate?
a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. I think to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests. Every year, I get the call, California's burning. California's burning. If that was cleaned, if you had forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't be getting those calls. You know, in Europe, they live their forest cities. They're called forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country. It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem. I spoke with the governor about it. I'm getting along very well with the governor. But I said, at some point, you can't every year have hundreds of thousands of acres of land just burned to the ground. That's burning down because of a lack of
But
management.
sir, if you believe in the science of climate change, why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
Because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution from cars?
Well,
and
not
trucks?
really, because what's happening is the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car. And you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen, because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by
But in the case of
$3,500.
California, they simply
No, but it
ignored
would take a lot of cars off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now, and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me. Many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And I'm okay with electric cars too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars. But what they've done in California is just crazy.
Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record.
I have a scythe.
Sir, you proposed $2 trillion in green jobs.
Death scythe, Rob. Murder, death scythe. Death scythe, Rob. Murder, death scythe. You sound insane, David. I'm not insane. I kill with a scythe. Holy shit, you know, you're driving me nuts, David.
Able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on our electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future. We're going to build a economy.
I have a scythe.
The ability us to take
You're just gonna come in and say that all day.
in a way that, in fact, they'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating millions of good paying jobs, not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage, by having a new infrastructure that in fact is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart. And talk about someone who has no relationship with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down. More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States. Instead of doing something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then you're going to have significant economic consequences.
What about the argument that President Trump basically says that you have to balance environmental interests and economic interests, and he's drawn his line?
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, makes sure that he wants to make sure that methane is not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is a guy who says that, well, the fact that it's all true. And here's the deal.
Talking about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's $100 trillion.
I'm talking about.
Where they want to rip down buildings and rebuild the building. It's the dumbest, most ridiculous, where airplanes are out of business, where two-car systems are out, where they want to take out the cows too. You know, that's not true either, right? This is a 100 trillion. That's more money than our country could make in 100 years if we
not the case.
All right, let me
destroy
because I actually, wait a minute, sir. I actually have studied your plan, and it includes upgrading $4 million.
I have a scythe. You fucking just say that? Yeah, you know, he's funny.
The president is saying, and some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
Gotta get more death out there. There's not enough death.
Let him finish, sir.
The fact is, it's going to create millions of good paying jobs, and these tax incentives to people for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that.
That's what they did say.
You made it up.
And here's the deal: we are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. That didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problems. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
Chris, so why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does, India does, they all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 billion.
That is not my plan.
That's
Green
you want to rebuild every building.
My plan.
You want to rebuild every
anything about
He made a statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
What he did is he said he called the military stupid bastards. He said it on tape. He said stupid bastards. He would never say that.
Play it.
Go ahead. Mr. Vice President answered his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all was granted.
I'm having a little trouble myself, but and about the economy and about this question of what it's going to cost.
The economy.
I mean, the Green New Deal and the idea of what your environmental change will do.
The Green New Deal will pay for itself as we move forward. You're not going to build plants that, in fact, are great polluting plants.
You support the Green New Deal?
Pardon me?
You support?
No, I don't support the Green New Deal.
You don't? Oh, well, that's a big statement.
I support the
radical left.
I support the Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which is different than what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment. Election integrity. As we
We gotta get more death out there.
Americans are
There's not enough.
going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election? And what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks? Because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election Day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director and as well as the FBI Director says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and their polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You will determine the outcome of this election. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted and they're all counted, that will be accepted.
Getting
If I
feelings of
win,
inadequacy.
that will be accepted. If I lose, they'll be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country's going to look like the next 4 years.
In a two-party system that will always and has forever been a two-party system? No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. You have no control with this two-party system. It's a complete joke, and everyone's bought. Yeah, I know. You have no. He's telling you have control with this stupid vote. You don't. You don't have any control over anything with this vote. This vote is going to change nothing.
From the day I came down the escalator with our first lady, they were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that, because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot. Okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them.
It should be ranked choice ballot. It should be a ranked choice ballot. You should be able to rank your choices, and that way people can put a third or fourth option first. But they don't want someone who's from the people's opinion to get into power. They want to just block. And they block all day, and then they come up here and claim they haven't blocked anyone. Well, you blocked a lot of people's path to power, and you do it every day, and you're part of the same system that does it every fucking day, always blocking the people's access to their own power. And that means that we are not in a democracy, because all this is just a bunch of blockers. There's no politicians, just people who block people trying to come into power when they should be in power, when people want to make difference. I mean, it's just a disaster how it is now. Where were all the mask making machines? Why are they all in China? Why do you leave all our machines in China?
President Trump, you're going to be able to continue. You've been charging for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud. But in 2018, in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle down?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today, where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them. We don't like them. We don't like them.
Well, what are you going to do about it? There are millions of ballots going out.
What you do is you go and vote. You do a solicited ballot. And that's okay. Or you go and vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people.
You go and vote. You go and vote. Like they used to in the old
millions of people.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're sending. They have mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia. Mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well.
5 states had mail-in ballots for the last decade or more. 5, including 2 Republican states. and you don't have to solicit the ballot. It's sent to you. It's sent to your home. What they're saying is that it has to be a postmark by the time, by election day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted.
There's gotta be more death.
You're wrong. I want to continue with you on this. Vice President Biden.
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes a statement like that.
Excuse me. Vice President Biden.
There's gotta be more death. You fucking kidding me, David?
Sizable number, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they
You're funny, dude. You're funny. I can't fight that.
irregularity or they missed the deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you, that is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me, when you have 80 million ballots, sending and swamping the system, you know it can't be done. You know it can't, and already
All
there's
right.
been
So now
fraud,
mail
deception,
service
and
question is, in 8 states, we can keep going. In 8 states, election workers are prohibited currently by law. 8 states.
Dave, you look like an orc.
to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and flatten them until election day. That means
David, if you want to watch a good interview here, honestly, with the left.
balloting that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, until we find out who the new president is. So first for you, sir, finally, for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified?
And to create more death.
Supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully because that's what has to happen. I am urging
You fucking kidding me? To create more death? You fucking kidding me?
They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things. And I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell you what, from a common sense,
does that mean
I'll tell you what it means. It means you have a fraudulent election. You said you have 80 million ballots. They're not equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two, they cheat. They cheat. Hey, they found ballots in a waste paper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name military ballots. They were military. They all had the name Trump on them. You think that's good?
Final question for you. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm while the vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes, here's the deal. They count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until election day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. And that's what's going to happen. Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established. Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race.
You had an opportunity
Look
to
at
respond.
Carolyn Maloney. They have no idea what
Vice
happened.
President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome. And I'll be a president not just for the Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans. And
this guy.
I wanted to make honest ballot.
You're supposed to reverse that with your grammar. You didn't. Yeah, I know you were.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you've agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. The 2 vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, will debate at 9 p.m. Eastern that night. We hope you watch. Until then, thank you and good night.
Clearly, this was the most chaotic presidential debate I've ever seen, and I suspect most of you, if not all of you, have ever seen most chaotic presidential debate, and it will certainly raising a lot of questions about the future of the presidential debate between these 2 candidates. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if this
Just pick out on those fries. I have to go take my pill. Good touch. It made me crave more dad. Now you get to watch me pig out on some of this pie. It gives them like fat. This will be really entertaining. Wow.
Bringing him back.
Yeah, it takes too much chance.
Nice work, Joe. I was returning from a mining expedition with our assistant, and I encountered a Pearl battle cruiser. I managed to outrun it, but it drained my power. My sensors detected a Dystonian deposit inside the comet, so it was either try and land there and get the fuel that I needed, or sit around and wait to die. Well, lucky for you, we happen to be in your neck of the woods. Extremely lucky. Thank you, Captain.
Well, you're welcome, Captain. Alara will assign you temporary quarters until we can drop you off at the nearest Union base.
Perfect.
Dead Sea Quarters Unit 3.
Yeah. Wait, did the last guy in there have a hamster?
Lieutenant Phillips, yeah.
Does it still smell like hamster?
I'll give her Unit 6.
Great. Well, insane day for you, huh?
Yeah. You know, I'm not ashamed to admit I could use a drink.
Well, you know, I'm hosting a cocktail thing for the senior officers tonight in my quarters. You're welcome to join.
I'd love to.
Great. So I'll say thank you, so we'll go get ready.
Okay, see you there.
Oh, wait, Captain.
Mind sticking around for a few minutes?
Why, what for?
I think everyone's gonna want to see this.
See what?
Is there some reason I am the central focus of everyone's attention?
Well, you look happier than usual.
Happiness is not possible for an artificial life form.
You have a face.
I do not understand.
Isaac, are you aware that you have Mr. Potato Head pieces all over you?
I got you, man. I totally got you. See, that's a practical joke.
Wait, you put that stuff on?
Well, he was recharging. How the hell can you even see with all of that stuff on?
I detect environmental stimuli with internal sensors. My eyes are purely aesthetic. Evidently, my sensors did not classify these Mr. Potato Head pieces as a threat.
Okay. So now it's your turn. Okay, you gotta get me, and you gotta be creative. You gotta do it when I least expect it.
And this is humor.
Yes.
I must admit, it is quite challenging. However, I will do my best.
Oh, well, the mining company keeps things from getting dull, I can tell you that.
The Vega Consortium operates out by the frontier, doesn't it?
Yes. Oh, we meet some pretty wild cultures out there. Last year, I was trying to secure mining rights.
The
and a plan
Jedi.
it's customary at the start of any business negotiation for all parties to show their genitals.
What's the point of that?
It's a show of good faith. I promise that all negotiators will be forthright and free
Oh, I
from
want something for quarter.
If you're a
No.
miner, I guess that's what you call finding a vein.
So, Captain Levesque, where are you from originally?
I was born on Earth, Massachusetts, actually.
No kidding, I'm from Massachusetts.
Really? What part?
Little town called Boxford.
I'm from Andover.
Oh my God, we were neighbors.
Did you ever go to the Salem Witch Museum as a kid?
My mother took me there when I was 10. It scared the crap out of me.
That holographic recreation of the Giles Quarry interrogation?
Yes, where they kept piling the rocks on top of him to get him to confess, and he was going, "No way!" I had nightmares for a month.
I don't think you ever told me that.
It's like this weird specific thing. You kind of just had to be there. But God, it's so crazy to bring that up.
What do you want for quarter? Nothing.
Come in,
Hi. Me again.
Captain Levesque. Hi,
Oh, please. You can call me Priya.
Priya. I hope you had fun tonight.
I did. I had a lot of fun.
Good. We still have some orange. I don't know what they are, but
I'm vegetarian.
they're terrible. Forget it.
Listen, I realize I never said a proper thank you. You know, I would have been cooked alive today if it hadn't been for you and your crew.
Well, that's our job. How are your quarters?
Doesn't smell like hamster.
That's great. That's a big win around here. Well, please don't steal our towels. We've had some problems.
Okay, I won't. I'm gonna turn in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Search personnel database for the Vega Mining Consortium. Name, Priya Levesque.
Search complete. No results.
And this is our engine room. We have a Dysonium-powered quantum drive system capable of speeds exceeding 10 light years per hour.
That's impressive.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna close down my stream now, I guess.
This is
No
Captain
one
Levesque.
joined.
And then some. Uh-oh, calling HR. I'm just kidding. Steve Newton, glad to know you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Chief, the recalibration's gonna. Yowza.
And this is Yaphet,